Lesson 3 in Unit 1 is all about the different types of sequences. So the first thing you want to remember is how to deal with function notation. So if we look at this function, f of n equals 3n minus 7, how would we evaluate f of 10? Notice that the 10 took the place of the n, so we're going to replace n with 10 each time I see it. And then I can just use my order of operations to simplify the right side. And 3 times 10 is 30 minus 7 is 23. This tells me that f of 10 has a value of 23. To find f of 10 minus 1, I already know that f of 10 is 23, so I can replace f of 10 with 23 minus 1 is 22. But notice the different notation for f of 10 minus 1. Remember, this is in your notebook, so this is in Unit 1, Lesson 3, Activity 1. So you should be finding this in your book and you can just follow along. So f of 10 minus 1, we have to do what's in the parentheses first, which is f of 9. And then to find f of 9, I come back to my function and I replace the n with 9 this time. And I can see 3 minus 9 is 27, minus 7 is 20. So because f of 9 is 20, f of 10 minus 1 is also 20 because they're the same thing. Now, f of 5, we have to do this in stages. First, we're going to do f of 5, then we're going to find f of 4, then we just subtract them. So f of 5 is 3 times 5 minus 7, which is 15 minus 7. So f of 5 has an answer of 8. Then separately, we find the value for f of 4. So plug 4 into the equation. 3 times 4 is 12 minus 7. F of 4 is 5 because 12 minus 7 is 5. So then we just need f of 5, which is 8, minus f of 4, which is 5. So this has a value of 3. That's your function notation. That's going to get us ready for writing the different types of functions. Okay, so let's look at these different sequences. If I look at 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70, what am I doing each time to find the sequence? 30 to 40, I'm adding 10. 40 to 50, I'm adding 10. 50 to 60. So my pattern in every single case, I am adding a constant of 10. In letter B, I'm adding 5, then I'm adding 10, then I'm adding 15. So I'm adding each time, but I'm not adding a constant. So that's going to be important. Letter C, multiply by 2, multiply by 2, and so forth. Okay. So that was for number 1. For each sequence, describe a way to produce a new term. Number 2, if the pattern you describe continues, which one has the second greatest value for the 10th term? Well, notice that sequence A started at the biggest number, 30, but I'm only going up by 10 each time. So it's not going to be very big by the 10th term. Here I'm adding a little bit more each time, so it's going to actually overtake. Notice on the next one, I'll add 25, so it's already bigger than A. But on C, I'm multiplying by 2, so it's growing exponentially. So letter B is actually going to be the second greatest, because A grows the slowest, B grows the next fastest, and C grows the fastest total. Now, let's remember what could be geometric sequences. What is our definition for a geometric sequence? Geometric sequence, we know we multiply by a constant, which is called a common ratio or a growth factor. Either one of those terms can be used. Because letter C is being multiplied by a constant of 2, our growth factor is 2, So letter C is geometric based on the definition. But letter A kind of helps us get ready for the next sequence we're going to talk about. Now, let's look at activity 3 in lesson 3. Jada and Mai are trying to decide what type of sequence this could be. Jada says, I think the sequence is geometric because the value column, each row, we're multiplying by 3, which is true. Mai says, I don't think it's geometric because I graphed it and it doesn't look geometric. So if we look at a graph, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go up by 1s on my x-axis, but I'm going to go by 2s to get to 18 in my y. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. 18 is going to be up here. So if I graph 1, 2, it's there. 2, 6, and 6, 18. Notice this pattern. This is not exponential, so it's not geometric. So what do you think Jada missed when we look at the table? This says the first term has a value of 2. This says the second term has a value of 6. But notice the terms, it skipped terms 3 and 4, where the fifth term is 18. So really watch those details, because the first two, we looked at the first two terms, but then all of a sudden it jumped to the fifth term. So be very, very careful. All right, so it's not geometric. So that leads us to our arithmetic sequence. So where geometric is defined by multiplying, an arithmetic sequence is a sequence in which the first term is added. So if you're writing in your notes, arithmetic sequence, I would highlight added by a constant. It has to be a constant value each time. And that constant is called the rate of change, or you can use the common difference. And always make sure you include the domain and the initial term each time you talk about an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so go ahead and get that into your notes. And then we're going to differentiate the two between arithmetic and geometric. This is a cool down, so those are never included in your notebook. So if you want to find either in your notes, if you want to include them, or put it into a spot in your notebook, that's fine. But what I want to do is show you the difference between the arithmetic using the same set. Ugh, I can't talk and write at the same time. An arithmetic sequence versus a geometric sequence. And I'm going to lead you through everything you need for the checkpoint. So many sequences start with 2 and 8. So if it's arithmetic, what would the next two terms be? Arithmetic means we're adding by a constant. So what do we add? We're adding by 6, so add 6 each time, 14 and 20. This would be an arithmetic sequence because there is a common difference of 6. So let me show you how the terms common difference come from. If I take each set of two values next to each other, 8 and 2, 8 minus 2 is 6. 14 minus 8 is 6. 20 minus 14 is 6. Difference is the answer when you subtract. These all have a common difference of 6. That's why it's an arithmetic sequence. So you're going to say this is an arithmetic sequence because we are adding, you must use the word add, a common difference of 6. But I wanted to show you here where that came from. All right, let me make a little bit more room though. This is where our, initial term, you always want to state your initial term is 2. Then we're going to write our explicit form. Explicit form is just the function notation. That's kind of what we started in the beginning of the lesson with. F of n equals. Now, the other thing, let's go back. I want you to add one more thing to the arithmetic sequence. Where geometric functions are exponential, all arithmetic sequences are linear. So one of the things that might help you remember how to write a linear equation is the y equals mx plus b, because remember, m is the slope, right? What's another word for slope? Rate of change, which notice that's our constant. That's what we're going to use in writing our equation. Okay, so f of n equals, we're going to write our common difference of 6, our rate of change. Always match this variable to whatever you put here. And then we're always just going to add the initial term. Here's where the domain is important. This is when the domain starts with n values that are greater than or equal to 0. If you use the initial term 2 here, this will always be n is greater than or equal to 0. And that's your arithmetic. All right, now let's change to see what does geometric look like. We're still going to start with 2 and 8, but because geometric is multiply, what are we multiplying by here? We are multiplying by 4. So multiply by 4 again, and by 4 again. So this is a geometric sequence because we are multiplying by a common ratio this time of 4. Our initial term is still 2, but our explicit form now is exponential. So we're going to take our common ratio with our variable in the exponent of the common ratio times the initial term of 2, and our domain will always be n is greater than or equal to 0 when we start with our initial term. So that's the biggest difference between arithmetic, add, and geometric multiply.